His example will always inspire, and his lifetime of service will be enshrined in the hearts of the American people forever.
Honoring the life and legacy of George H.W. Bush, dignitaries and everyday Americans gathered to pay their respects to the former president who died Friday evening. He was 94. Good evening from Washington, D.C., and thank you to those of you joining us from around the world for news from a Catholic perspective. I'm Lauren Ashburn. Mourners flock to Capitol Hill. The casket of the former president, George H.W. Bush, now rests atop a platform made to support the remains of Abraham Lincoln. President Trump and the First Lady were among the mourners who visited last night. Correspondent Mark Irons is on Capitol Hill.
Good evening, Lauren. This morning I joined Americans from as far away as California waiting in line to say goodbye to George H.W. Bush. People of all ages, backgrounds, brought together by one man who served the nation through a long life of public service.
Honor him for honoring us.
In 1988, the Bolins met then Vice President George H.W. Bush on the campaign trail. Their 7-year-old daughter, Kate, was battling leukemia, the same disease that took the life of Bush's daughter, Robin. He took a moment to speak with Kate.
Got down on his knees, face to face, eyeball to eyeball with her, to step away from the power brokers of the world, to spend time with a little girl. It just speaks to his heart.
Kate would pass away 2 years later. The Bolins always remembering the consideration Bush showed.
We appreciate that.
We joined the growing line of mourners of all political stripes.
Well, and this was the first man I voted for.
Steve McKinney turned 18 in 1992. He comes from a military family and stuck with Bush as a kid.
But I had a Bush Quail 88 sticker on my junior high locker and a Bush Quail 92 on my high school locker.
A couple vacationing from Los Angeles didn't support his policies, but came here to honor him.
I mean, we're Americans, and he was our president, so we think that deserves respect.
Elementary school students in line described the moment.
Once in a lifetime.
This school group from Maryland, on a field trip to the National Gallery of Art, took a detour to the Capitol building.
It's special for me.
It's a very sad occasion, but also very cool because I've never had an opportunity like this.
The body of George H.W. Bush brought to the Capitol last night for the honor of lying in state. Lawmakers of both parties paid their respects, and the vice president spoke on behalf of his family and of President Trump.
On behalf of the First Family and my family and the American people, we offer our deepest sympathies and respects to your family. And we thank you for sharing this special man with our nation and the world.
The President and First Lady visited later in the evening. President Trump honored his predecessor with a salute.
In a statement, the president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, Cardinal Daniel DiNardo, is offering prayers for the repose of the soul of the former president. He called Bush a courageous man, dedicated leader, and selfless public servant. Lauren?
Mark, what an amazing report, all the people you saw in those lines. What are the funeral plans for the former president tomorrow?
Well, the people in those lines, the public will be allowed into the Capitol Rotunda around the clock until tomorrow morning. Now, that's when the casket leaves Capitol Hill. The former president was Episcopalian, and funeral services will be held at the National Cathedral here in Washington tomorrow. Lauren?
White House correspondent Mark Irons, rarely on Capitol Hill. Thank you, Mark.